This is a story of how a systemic abuse of power met its match in silence, calculated strategy, and the unwavering conviction of someone who refused to be broken. It is a narrative stripped of specific locations, names, and identifiers, focusing instead on the universal struggle for integrity against ingrained authority. The guilty party, Officer Ellison, faces consequences not through a dramatic court case, but through a calculated, systematic dismantling of his power and reputation by his newly appointed superior, Chief Monroe. The courthouse hallway was a study in beige and tension, a sterile corridor where anxieties whispered and heels clicked like a morbid metronome. It was a space designed to suppress emotion, and this morning, it was ripe for a breach. Officer Grant Ellison appeared, a walking embodiment of rigid, unquestioned authority. His presence was not a walk, but a patrol, his eyes scanning the diverse crowd with suspicion. For Ellison, the uniform was a license to judge, a shield for prejudice. A woman stood near the benches, observant, still, and contained. She wore simple, understated clothing, perhaps in her 40s. She was serene, a mirror of stillness in the commotion. Ellison spotted her. Identification, he barked, his voice accustomed to instant obedience. She didn't move. She didn't speak. She simply met his gaze, her look not one of fear, but of cool, accurate measurement. He didn't wait. With a swift, aggressive motion, he wrenched her wrist and slammed her against the wall. The click of the handcuffs was too loud, too violent for a place of supposed dignity. Her shoulders struck the wall, then her cheek. The sound was sharp. A collective gasp rippled through the onlookers, but they did not move. Cell phones were raised, fingers hit record, but feet remained rooted. The crowd did what it had been conditioned to do when injustice wore a badge. It looked away. And she, the woman, did not cry out. She did not protest. She simply turned her head slowly and looked him directly in the eye, not with terror, but with clarity, with a deeper knowing, as if this was a scene she had lived, counted, and analyzed too many times. Ellison's knuckles were white around the cuffs. His face projected authority, yet his body trembled almost imperceptibly, betraying the control he desperately sought to project. Off-frame, a red light blinked. A camera was recording. This was not merely an ugly incident. It was a fissure in the system, and someone was about to step through it. The coldness in the courthouse wasn't the temperature. It was the cold of power, of silence, of fixed postures. The hard benches, the soulless beige walls. Everything whispered one word: obey. Ellison had navigated this system for years, long enough to believe he was the engine, not just a gear, empowered to filter who belonged and who was a threat based simply on appearance. He acted quickly, forcefully, mistaking volume for justification. After the assault, he returned to his post as if nothing had occurred, crossing his arms, challenging the world with his stare. The woman, whose name we shall call Nain, quietly picked up her belongings, smoothed her sleeve, and returned to her seat. She was silent, her lips tight, a picture not of defeat, but of containment, of knowledge. It was a decision, not yet. Her silence now weighed more than any badge on his chest. The air grew heavy. The hallway became static. Nain rose, unhurried, unafraid. She adjusted her bag with minute composure. Ellison watched, tensing for another scene, another challenge. But she did not raise her voice. She did not argue. She took out her wallet, opened it, and held it aloft. A gold badge on a blue background, a name engraved in silver letters. Chief Nain Monroe, District 12 Police Department. The courtroom fell into a stunned silence. A young officer gasped. A court employee dropped a pen, and the sharp click echoed through the chamber. The judge paused mid-sentence, frowning. Someone whispered, "It's the new chief." Nain Monroe stood tall, her expression steady and unreadable. She looked directly at Officer Grant Ellison. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was controlled, measured, and impossible to ignore. "I took the oath yesterday," she said. "I came today to see how justice is applied in this building." She paused, letting the tension settle. "I have seen exactly what I came to see. No shouting, no spectacle, just truth, delivered like a final sentence." Ellison opened his mouth to respond, but no words came. His confidence fractured. The morning before, Nain had sat in her car outside the courthouse, staring at the familiar stone steps. A cup of coffee sat untouched beside her. She remembered being 17 and turned away from those same doors because an officer claimed her clothing was not appropriate. She remembered the humiliation, the bus ride home, and the academy rejection letter years later marked failure to respect chain of command, though everyone knew the real reason was that she reported a racist instructor. She carried that letter folded beside another, a handwritten message from her mother that read, "Justice does not wear a badge. It walks in your backbone. If you feel it there, don't let anyone break it." Now she wore the badge, not as a shield, but as responsibility. In a small conference room later, away from public view, she placed a thick red tab file in front of Ellison. Screenshots, witness statements, body cam stills, internal memos, an undeniable history of misconduct. "Before you speak," she said calmly, read. He skimmed and scoffed. "You dragged me in here to make a point? To humiliate me? This isn't justice. It's personal." Nain sat back. "You didn't humiliate me," she said. "You humiliated the badge." Her tone never shifted. A badge does not grant power. It grants responsibility. You forgot that a long time ago. His voice rose with anger. "You don't know what it's like out there." She cut him off. "Do not lecture me about struggle. I was watched every day, judged twice as hard, punished for mistakes I didn't make. You used the badge to shield yourself. I carried it as a weight." Then she placed a USB drive on the table. "Locker room footage. You thought the camera was off. It wasn't." The file contained audio of him mocking victims and instructing rookies to control the noise early, proof that his violence wasn't impulsive but trained. His expression finally cracked. "This is not revenge," Nain said as she stood. "It's accountability." Only then did he notice the faint bruise on her cheek, a reminder of the last person he pushed too far. "That silence you forced on others," she added, turning toward the door. "Now it's yours." The final blow came not from her, but from the public. A shaky 23-second video surfaced online showing Ellison slamming a 15-year-old boy, Jay Double, onto a curb. The sickening snap of bone was clear. The report had claimed resistance. The footage showed fear, not defiance. Jayan's sister, Tisa, spoke online, not with rage but with steady resolve. "We stayed silent," she said. "We won't anymore." The video spread. Hashtags mounted. The silence broke. Ellison was placed on administrative leave through a cold and signed email. He replied, accusing Chief Monroe of destroying the department. Her response was one line, "No, you destroyed it. I'm just cleaning up." The exchange leaked. An anonymous reply followed. "We were already broken." She just turned on a light. When Ellison returned to collect his belongings, no one spoke. Conversations stopped as he walked by. Eyes avoided him. He realized the sentence wasn't written, it was lived. The shield he hid behind was gone, and without it, he was just a man the department no longer respected. Rebuilding began quietly. In a briefing room, Nain addressed the officers. "Reform begins by acknowledging who we lost," she said. She called forward Leticia Torres, pushed out years earlier for being too assertive. Effective immediately, Nain announced. She is reinstated as Deputy Chief of Training. Applause started hesitant, then grew. Torres spoke. "I wasn't silent. I was waiting. Now I speak so others know they can too." Nain looked at the room, not as a symbol, but as a reminder. Justice must be lived. Outside, the public watched, cautious but hopeful. "We will do better," she said. "Not because it's easy, but because it's time." And for the first time, the words were believed.